Welcome to today's championship race, which is shaping up to be a real nail-biter. It's one of the fastest races of the season here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 60% of this 2.7-mile circuit taken at full throttle. There are 14 corners to navigate, the very last of which has its very own infamous history and could be the cause of a safety car today. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn one. It's all a bit like going into battle. The unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. George Russell will begin today's event from pole position, edging out Romain Grosjean, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Stroll, Kevin Magnussen, and Norris, Perez, Kvyat, Ricciardo, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Gasly, Raikkonen, Valtteri Bottas, and Leclerc, Vettel, Albon, Max Verstappen and Esteban Ocon. Latifi and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway. drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. And with his performance today, Carlos Sainz assumes the top spot in the championship standings. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
It's got to be Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he pulled off some impressive feats out on the track today, even by his standards.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. McLaren supplant the previous leaders, taking control of the championship. Another team that excelled today was Williams, who make further progress up the table. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One. It's time to head down to the track now for today's championship race. And I wonder, who's going to come out on top? We're racing today then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7-mile circuit and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3. That gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. And so, for one final time this season, Anthony Davidson joins me in the commentary box.
Well, the winter break is warming once again. No doubt many of those teams already have their eyes firmly on next season. But there's still work to be done here. Still championship positions to decide, which can make a big difference to the prize money. So no one's going to be taking their foot off the throttle just yet.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. Edging out Antonio Giovinazzi, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Magnussen, Kvyat, Lance Stroll and Albon, Latifi, Leclerc, Perez and Esteban Ocon, Gasly, Grosjean, Carlos Sainz and Bottas, Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. Hamilton and George Russell ends our grid lineup. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
DRS is now enabled. Okay, take it easy on the car. We can't sustain this level of damage.